Hi guys, welcome to Individual Tax. I'm Mrs. Schuster. Some of you have been in my classes before, some of you haven't. This class is probably one of the harder online classes that you'll take. It's not too difficult in class, but online, as you know, those of you who take lots of online classes, you're basically learning this on your own. Luckily, in this class, well, most of my online classes I do have videos. For this class, I will be recording videos. I just got my book in December, so there are no videos, and I have to re-record every single year because tax law changes. And by the way, I know that there's a huge tax law change that does not affect 2017. It will be that'll be in effect for 2018. So we're going to be learning 2017 law. The publisher and the author have told us that they will try to keep us updated as far as what changes might be different. I don't know that that'll be in effect for this semester. I'm hoping it will. But for this semester, basically, you need to know how to submit a tax return for 2017 anyway. So if I do have any information on what's changing for next year, for like the standard deduction and exemptions, that is changing, I know that. And I'm familiar with what's going on with that. But there are lots of other little changes, and I don't know that they even know what all those changes are. So if we know things, if I know as we're going, I will let you know. Those will be recorded in the videos. So very important that you watch the videos in this class. That's the lecture, or at least part of the lecture. If you don't watch the videos, you will be lost. And I can always tell when people are doing their assignments if they didn't watch the video, because there are things that I say specifically in the video. Remember this, write this down, highlight this, whatever. So important that you watch those every single chapter. If you look at the chapters, notice that we are only covering 5 chapters, but they're not in order. We're doing 1 and then 6, and then we'll go back and pick up 2, 4, and 5. We're not going to do chapter 3. I used to do 3 at the end, but we just don't have enough time to throw that one in there. So I've eliminated that. If you have a home business or you want to know any information, it's a great chapter. You can go ahead and read it. It would help you out. What else do I need to say? Oh, collaborate. So last semester I started doing the virtual office hours, and this time I'm changing that a little bit. Instead of it just being virtual office hours, I'm going to do a little lecture. So those are going to be, the times are changing a little bit too. I'm doing alternating Sunday afternoons and Monday afternoons. Partly because my family was not happy with me when I switched to Sunday. I chose Sunday because I thought that's when everybody's doing their homework, and that might help them. But also in alternating, I thought that I could catch people who maybe aren't available on Sunday on Monday, and vice versa. So if you look at the course calendar, those are all set up in there. I'll also have announcements every week, and I will send that announcement out in an email every week. So anybody who was with me last semester, same deal. You're going to get that email probably late in the week. I'm thinking Thursday is when I'll probably send those out, Wednesday or Thursday, to let you know about the Sunday or Monday coming up. So in those, I will record them. So anybody who couldn't be there will have an opportunity to watch it, but you wouldn't have an opportunity to participate and ask questions. If you don't have a camera, it's okay. You don't need one. You don't need a speaker. If you do have a camera, please turn it on and let us see. I mean, as long as you're decent. But I like seeing you guys just as much as you guys want to see me, or maybe you do. But if you don't have a microphone, you can always just type in the little discussion area, and I'll answer your questions that way as well. The first one will be next Sunday, so Sunday the 14th, I think the 14th, and so that's when we're going to start chapter 1. So I'll talk about the highlights of chapter 1, and I don't really know how long the lecture part of it will be. I can't think of anything else to say about that. If you have questions, please let me know. Use Ask My Instructor to ask questions unless it's emergency. We don't really have a whole lot of emergencies in this class. And the only type of emergency I can think of is that you can't get in to Blackboard. And always let me know if you don't have access to Blackboard. Let me know, because that means there's a problem someplace usually. Let's see. So the Welcome Start here has lots of information. I've changed these things a little bit. You probably noticed already in any accounting class that you have with me or any adjunct, or most of them anyway. In the Welcome Start here is just more general information about the course. Down in Instructor Information is where you'll find all kinds of information. There's information about me, information about how to contact me, office hours, lab hours. If you're not familiar with lab hours, we have lab hours at both the Barrow campus and the Forsyth campus. I think I wrote down the times that I want to do them, but I don't have classrooms yet. It'll be the end of the first week of classes before I am able to get those classes, so the times could change depending on classroom availability, but I need a computer lab for those. And I will help anybody in any accounting class. So you could come and ask me about spreadsheets if you wanted. I'm not the best person to ask, but we might be able to muddle through it and figure it out. Sometimes it's better than sitting at home trying to figure it out. Computerized accounting, though, if you're having problems with that, come and see me. I'm the champion of that class. I can usually help you. I created that class. So discussions, let's talk about that really quick. Discussions, the only thing that's changed as far as discussions go this semester is that the actual deadline that shows up in Blackboard is Thursday. So, the chapter opens up on Monday. It's always open anyway. But so you could do discussions the weekend before if you needed to. In fact, I always recommend, if you're having a hard time making that Tuesday or Thursday deadline, do it the weekend before, and then the following weekend you can do your follow-up. So Thursday is your initial deadline, and then the following Monday, the same as all your other deadlines, would be for subsequent postings. If you're not familiar with the discussion guidelines, please read those carefully and understand them. If you have questions, let me know. Also, in the discussions, there aren't very many. I think I've got one per chapter. We spend at least 2 weeks on chapter 1. I think 3 weeks on chapter 6. So in those 5 weeks, there are only 2 discussions. And the discussions are pretty interesting, I think, in this class. They're better than financial accounting 2. I know those are lame, and I'm really sorry about that. That's a tough class to come up with discussions. They're probably not as cool as the fraud class, because those discussions could be a lot of fun, but they're still decent. So I talked about Collaborate. And the chapters. Okay, assignments. There is one assignment of problems, and remember, there is no code or anything for this class. You can buy your textbook off Amazon if you want. It's a brand new textbook, so you're not going to be able to find any used ones, not this semester. So the assignments in the back of the chapter, I will grade those. They're due by the due date, but I do allow resubmissions on that because it's pretty hard, and I know that sometimes, especially the first one, if people hurry through, I can tell if you've hurried or if you haven't watched the videos, because there are lots of mistakes. If you get 50% on the first one, don't panic. It's no big deal. Look at the feedback. Go back and correct your errors and resubmit it. You can resubmit as many times. You've got 1 week. All resubmissions have 1 week from the due date to resubmit, and you can resubmit as many times as you want. So let's say that you got 50% the first time. You resubmitted the night that it was the last day possible for resubmissions, and you only got 60% this time. Well, there are no more resubmissions on that because you've waited too long. So stay caught up and check Blackboard very frequently, because I grade those as they come in. I don't wait. It's like term papers, I grade those all together. But your assignments and the sample problems that I'll talk about in a minute, those are graded as they come in. So, and not on the weekends, but like on Monday I would grade everything that came in. And so I do grade just about every day, unless it's a crazy week with all kinds of meetings or something, or I've been pulled away from my desk a lot, then I might not. The week of our proctored exams, I probably won't get any grading done that week because I'm not in my office enough. So there's one assignment that utilizes the back of the book, and when we do our the little orientation, the first lecture thing, I'll talk about those. And then the sample problems. So the sample problems are a scenario that I give you a scenario of all these little things that have happened to this taxpayer, and you need to fill out their tax return. I tell you which forms you need. So down at the bottom underneath the chapters, there's a button that says Forms for Tax Year 2017, and those forms will be, you'll print out those forms, so you do need to have a printer. Fill out the tax return, and then either scan it, and you can scan it all as one big form, or take pictures with your phone or whatever and submit all of that to the Dropbox, to that assignment. So you're going to make one submission with all of those forms. I will grade them, and unlike the homework, this is graded all or nothing. So it's kind of like if you've had computerized accounting, it's like that, but it's you have the 1 week to resubmit it. I will give you very, I wouldn't say specific feedback, but I'll tell you exactly what's wrong. As far as which lines are wrong or where I think you went wrong. So, if I'll start with the 1040A. Look at line 31, or think about this again, line 31, but I'll tell you which lines have issues. Now, a lot of times, if there's a certain line that has an issue and it affects other things, in the beginning I'm going to remind you, remember that this affects this feeds over to other places. Later on you're going to need to remember that. But in the first few that we do, I'll keep reminding you, remember that this feeds elsewhere. So just because I didn't mark that won't tell you that that line was wrong. So let's say, for example, line 31 is incorrect. You didn't on the 1040A, and that feeds over to 3 other forms, that particular number. You need to remember to go back over to those other forms and fix it over there as well. And I'll tell you, remember that this, that if this line is wrong, it affects other things, so that you'll remember that. Let's see. So if you submit it, you want to keep checking in Blackboard, check the feedback, and do as many resubmissions as you need to do within that time period. So let's say that the chapter opens up on Monday and you submit it on Monday. I'm probably going to grade it Monday or Tuesday. It's not even due until the following Monday. So you could have your resubmissions done and correct and have 100% before the due date even comes. I'm not going to wait until the due date to do grading. I'm going to do that practically every day. Let's see here. I think that's about it. If you wait until the last day, you'll end up with a 0. If you wait till the last day and you don't have 100%, because I don't allow resubmissions after that point. Because we do need to move on to the next one. Staying up to date in this class is really important, just like all other classes. It doesn't move quite as fast as, say, Financial Accounting 1, because we spend a little bit more time on the chapters. But you don't want to get behind, because there aren't as many grades in the grade book as there were. We have 3 exams. Each of the exams used to have 3 parts. They all now only have 2 parts. And they're forms based, just like the sample problems, all of them are. But there are no resubmissions on those. The good thing for you is there are allotted points for everything you do, so you'll get an actual grade, not 100 or 0 on the exams. The proctored exam will be exam 1, and it'll just be the first problem. So there are 2 problems for exam 1. The first problem will be proctored. The second problem is on your own. And we'll talk about that some more when the time gets closer. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope that helps clarify a few things for you, and we'll talk again on the 14th. I hope everybody will join us for our little orientation and beginning chapter 1. If you have any questions, use Ask My Instructor, or you can email me. I prefer Ask My Instructor because it keeps everything in the class, and then I can find everything and I don't lose anything. So anyway, I look forward to a wonderful semester.